So for maths today, we are going to revise fractions. Now I have my handy dandy paper here that showed me exactly what it is that we went through, and it's kind of in preparation for Friday's quiz, okay? So I need you to take note of what we will be discussing today. There we go, fractions. Cool. We're going to go through a few things that you will need to know how to do. First thing is to write the fraction of a shaded area. Now, Phoebe, sorry, my cat is throwing tantrums. Okay, so let's say this is the fraction that you get from me. And I say, write the fraction of the shaded area. What I mean by that is I want a numerator and I want a denominator. Now, denominator. The numerator will tell me how many parts, and the denominator will always tell me parts of the whole. So, let's take a look. If I can advise you on something, I would always write the denominator before I write the numerator, because the denominator is the most simple one to find, if I can put it that way, because all you have to do for the denominator is count how many parts has it been divided into. 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many parts have been colored? 1. So my fraction for this picture will be 1 over 4, and we know that as soon as we see a 4, it is 1 quarter. Okay? Remember, 1 over 2, half. 1 over 3, third. 1 over 4, quarter. And then from there on, it's as if you are winning a race. So, 1 over 5, he came in fifth. Remember the at the back of the rest of the numbers. 1 over 6, sixth. 1 over 7, seventh. Okay, so for all of the numbers after a quarter, you will just put a th at the back, and you will talk about it not fifth, but talk about it as if they won a race. He came in fifth, sixth, seventh. Do you understand? Good. Phoebe, I'm just going to open the cupboard for her so that she can stop. Yes, stopped. Stopped. Okay. So, another thing that you have to be able to do is if I give you a fraction like this, let me just choose something that I can draw, because yesterday I kept choosing things that I can't even draw. So I mean, let's do 6 over 10. Or remember, when you read a fraction, you read it from top to bottom. So 6, put your hyphen, remember, 6 line, and then the last one, 10 sixteenths. Now I give you a picture like this. Okay, now you have to go color 16ths on this picture. So think about what the numerator and denominator mean. The numerator means how many parts. The denominator means parts of the whole. So how many parts has this whole been divided into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that one's done. Now we need to color the parts of the whole. How many parts should we color? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we go ahead and we color 6 parts of this whole. A lot nicer than I do, but okay. All right. So you will have to be able to write the fraction from a picture, and you will have to be able to shade a picture from a fraction. Good. Let me take a look at what else we talked about. Good. Okay, here's another thing. There's another request, and that would be to draw the lines to show fractions. So let's say I give you a shape like this. Please keep in mind, you two at home, when you divide a shape into parts for a fraction, when you divide a shape into parts, or a whole, when you divide a whole into its different parts, it must be equal, okay? You cannot, if I give you a shape like a triangle, sorry, I know that is, I decided last minute it's going to be a triangle. You cannot divide it like this and say, okay, 1, 2, 3 parts, because they are not equal. They have to be the same. So if I gave you like that and I said divide into 3, now I've given myself, wait, there is a way to do this, I remember. Okay, let's say I say divide into 4. You won't get something this complicated. 1, 2, 3, 4, but they are the same size. You cannot go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? Silly example. So if I give you this shape and I say divide it into quarters, you must think about how is each part of this whole going to be equal. So luckily for you, this shape is quite simple, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. Do you see? So that is also something you will have to do. If I tell you draw your own shape, show 3/4, you will have to be able to draw any, let's say you chose a square, divide it into 4 parts of the whole and shade 3. You will have to be able to do this as well. Good. You see if there was something else. Okay. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is sizes of fractions. Now this week we are going to focus a lot on where fractions fall on a number line, like what the size means and how to read them, because with fractions sometimes you will see 1/5, and then you'll also see 1/2. So you'll see a half and you'll see a fifth. And you might think, okay, the fifth is bigger because a 5 is bigger than a 2. But you must remember this is a fraction. These two are not wholes. It is not a whole 5 and it is not a whole 2. It is half and a fifth. So if we think about it this way, why do I always choose numbers that I can't draw? I don't know why that is the thing that I do. Okay, 5. Oh, my seat's a bit. What am I doing? Okay, 1, 2. Okay, they're kind of the same size. Work with me, yeah. Okay, so a half is this piece, and a fifth is this piece. Now, if you look at the shaded parts, which one is bigger? If mommy gave you this, if your mother gave you a fifth of a pizza and she gave your brother or your sister a half of a pizza, would you be angry? Okay, well, not angry, but would you feel like it was unfair? Yes, because a fifth is smaller than a half. Whereas, if it was something like this, 2/4 and 1/4. So this means 2/4 and this means 1/4. If the denominator is the same, we look at the top. So if we look at the bottom of a fraction, when we are comparing the size, we're going to talk about this more throughout the week, so I don't want you to stress about it now. I just quickly want to run it by you. If we look at the denominator of a fraction, the bigger the number, the smaller the fraction. Only if they have the same number on top. If we have two denominators that are exactly the same, we look at the top numbers and then it works as normal, because always think about the pictures, grade 2. Always think about the pictures, because that is going to help you to figure out, is this one bigger or is this one smaller? You can even draw small pictures. I will never be angry with you for trying to sketch or figure something out. That's what maths is about. Mathematics is about solving the problem. And whichever way you need to use to get to that answer, I will appreciate it. You can then just ask me for a scrap piece of paper and work it out on a scrap piece of paper. So, 2 quarters, 1, 2. 1 quarter, 1. So when the denominators are the same, we look at our numerators. 2 pieces of 4 are bigger than 1 piece of 4. So remember, the mouth always opens to the side that is bigger. All right. So these are the things that we discussed in class yesterday. We are going to go through them throughout the week again. So this isn't the last thing you're going to hear about fractions, and then I'm going to throw a test at you. So don't worry about it. We are still going to be working a lot with fractions this week. The next thing is you guys got fraction strips. I don't think I brought mine home. You guys received fraction strips in your packets. What you need to do with that is just take a look, okay? So the fraction strips are going to show you the whole at the top, the whole, and you are going to color that one color. Let's say you color the whole red. Look at the relationship between the whole and the half each. Let's say you color your halves blue. Both of them must be the same color. I want each strip to be a different color. So, but go look at the relationships. It's very important that you guys see how these fractions fit into each other. Let's say then it was the third. Z. Okay. And then it was my quarters. This is where you need to start seeing something. 2 quarters. You don't need to go write anything down. You don't need to memorize anything. Let's say you color this green and this yellow. I'm just going to stop here because I just want to talk to you. You don't need to go write anything down, study anything, memorize anything. That's not what I expect of you. Just go look at that paper and take note. How many quarters fit in a half? 1, 2 quarters fit in a half. So we know 2 over 4 is the same as a half. Okay, 2 fourths. If we had to color this, this would be 2 fourths is the same as 1 half. Go look at that type of relationship that you see on that paper, and it might give you a better understanding of equivalent fractions as a whole.